Hey guys, so for today's lesson we're going to be talking about diagramming prepositional phrases. And I'm going to give you a couple days on this lesson because there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve both with diagramming if you've never done that before and with learning a little bit of the software that we're going to have to use since we're doing distance learning. I do have a program available that you can use that will allow you to do it digitally, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that at the end of this video. Diagramming is a really important thing when it comes to grammar, particularly because it helps us to understand the relationship between various elements of the sentence. And it's actually a really good thing if you happen to be a visual learner. Some of you may not connect a lot with grammar in the traditional way because it's just on paper and you're just marking things with words. If you're a visual learner, this may help you some because it helps you to visualize the relationship between different parts of the sentence. And that's a really important thing to understand as you are becoming a better and better writer, because in order to write good sentences, you need to understand how the pieces of the sentence fit together. So that's why we do diagramming. Some people consider diagramming a little bit old-fashioned, but I think it still has a lot of value in helping those of us who are visual learners, and also just helping us to understand the relationship between things. Even if you're not necessarily a visual learner, it's still a good way to learn how things are related to one another. So let's jump in. This is not going to be a long video or a long lesson, but let's jump in to talking a little bit about diagramming. So in order to diagram a prepositional phrase, it's important to remember the different parts of the prepositional phrase. We already talked about the preposition and the object of the preposition as two of the important parts of the prepositional phrase. And those are the two parts that every prepositional phrase has to have. It has to have a preposition and an object of a preposition. The preposition is obviously the word like in, by, around, to, from, those types of words that you've been learning. The object of the preposition is the noun that comes at the end of the prepositional phrase, and it is the noun that the preposition is relating to some other part of the sentence, right? Whether that be another noun if it's an adjective prepositional phrase, or a verb if it's an adverb prepositional phrase. So you need to know the noun and the object of the preposition. You need to be able to identify those in the prepositional phrase in order to diagram it. Another thing that can appear in a prepositional phrase between the preposition and the object of the preposition is several adjectives. So if you've got any other words in the prepositional phrase besides the preposition and the object of the preposition, they're all going to be adjectives describing the object of the preposition. So you might have the preposition and then several words that are adjectives describing the object of the preposition, and then the object of the preposition. So let me show you what a basic prepositional phrase diagram looks like just with labeling where the different parts of the prepositional phrase would go. So here you can see the basics of the diagram. You're going to diagram the preposition on a line that is slanting down, and the object of the preposition on a horizontal line that's coming out from that downward slanting line. So you can see the object of the preposition, or sorry, not the object of the preposition. The preposition goes here on this downward slanting line, and then the object of the preposition goes here on this horizontal line. And then if you have any adjectives describing the object of the preposition, each adjective is going to go on its own line, slanting downward from underneath the object. And that lets us know that those adjectives, each of them are describing that object, right? Each of them is modifying that, giving us more information about the object of the preposition. Okay, so let's take a look at an example of this with an actual prepositional phrase. So let's start with a very simple one, from my brother, right? This is a very simple prepositional phrase. There's not much in there, but we do have a preposition, an object of a preposition, and one adjective. So you can see clearly from is on the downward slanting line because that is the preposition. Our object of the preposition is brother, and you can see that we've placed that on the horizontal line coming out from the preposition line. And then we have one adjective, my, that's going to go on a downward slanting line underneath the word brother. All right, so that's for a very simple one. If you had no adjectives between the preposition and the object of the preposition, you just wouldn't use the adjective line. So keep that in mind. It is possible to have an even simpler prepositional phrase without any adjectives. All right, here's one more example that's a little bit more of a complicated prepositional phrase because it has several adjectives in between the preposition and the object of the preposition. But you can see that the principle is the same. So underneath is our preposition showing place, and that's going to go on the downward slanting line here. The object of the preposition, we're just going to look for the one-word noun when we're looking for the object of the preposition. So we're not looking at a whole bunch of words. When we're looking at the object of the preposition, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be one word, not multiple words. So in this case, it is just the word bridge. So we're going to put that on the horizontal line, coming out from the preposition line. And then in this sentence, we have 3 separate adjectives. And so you'll notice that they're each diagrammed on their own separate line. All 3 of them underneath the word bridge, which is the word that they're describing. So those are the basics of how to diagram a prepositional phrase. It's not a particularly tricky task. Now, when we get later in the quarter, we will be diagramming more elements of a sentence, and it will become slightly more complicated. But for this first task, for this first diagramming task, it's a very simple thing to do. It's not a hard one. So you just look at the preposition, the object of the preposition, and then the adjectives, and then you diagram them like we've shown. So it's going to be time for you to do some practice, and you're going to practice diagramming some prepositional phrases. So underneath this video, I'm going to have listed 5 prepositional phrases for you to diagram. And I'm going to give you a couple days to work on that. Because there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve. You may not have done it before. Plus, we will be potentially using some new software online to be able to do that. So there are 2 ways that you could submit this assignment, depending on what you have access to at home. If you want to do your diagrams on paper and you have a scanner or you have a camera to take pictures of them with, you could upload scans or pictures of your paper diagrams. Or if that is not available to you or not a very convenient option, or you would just rather do this, I'm going to include a link to a program where you can diagram sentences online. It's free, but you will have to sign up for it. You'll just have to include your email, your name, and your password. Very much like you would do signing up for Canvas, right? You could head on over there and you could sign up, and then once you sign up, there's going to be an instructional video showing you how to use it. You can also just click around and figure out how to make it work, which is what I did, but there are several instructional videos showing you how to use the program and the software, as well as just some other videos on diagramming. So if you're interested and you're all caught up on your coursework, and this doesn't take you a couple days, like I'm going to give you a couple days to work on it. If it doesn't take you that long, then you can certainly watch more, read more about how to diagram sentences and other parts of sentences, and kind of do some self-teaching so that you're prepared for some of our lessons later. That would be a great thing for you to be able to do if you've got some extra time and you're wanting to do a little bit more learning and you find sentence diagramming to be interesting. So there's going to be 5 prepositional phrases for you to diagram underneath this video. You could either do those on paper and scan them, take a picture and submit them, or head over to the diagramming website. You can save your diagrammed sentences or prepositional phrases, and then you can download them as images and upload them for the submission. So have fun diagramming. If you're having problems with the diagramming software or you have any other questions about this lesson or any of the past lessons, email me or call me or send me a message here on Canvas and let me know, and I will do my best to help you. All right, guys, have a great day.